Wait, what? Hey, no, put it back. No, don't even think about it. Put it back. Daggum, just go farm the Mythic.
But I've been farming for 20 hours.
And Kirk farmed for 40. How did you even get in here anyways?
Wait, what are you doing?
Think I'm gonna play a max stat build today.
Uh-oh.
Look at this Mythic. See this Mythic? This is probably one of my new favorite Mythics of all time. Like when the Torc originally released in the patch notes, I remember laughing at it. They also randomly added a new Mythic item because they felt like it. Disable all other set bonuses and increase your damage done by 20%, reduce your damage taken by 20%, increase your healing done by 20%. But you don't get any more item sets active. But since then it got changed, and now it's almost every single one of my builds, and I'm in love. I also quite enjoy the fact that the Torc is still kind of under the radar for most people, and it's understandable why, because Update 41 released Tarnished, Antlemir's, and Cindermoth, so the focus has been on them for a while, but, you know, that means I get to be cool before everybody else. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. But that also means my testing environment was Update 41, and I don't really need to say much else about that other than I know this Mythic can compete alongside all the proc sets, which is kind of funny because this Mythic is actually disabled in no CP campaigns, which is kind of goofy because that technically means it's a proc set, but it's not a proc set. But I can understand why it's disabled in the no CP campaigns, because when you break down the stat distribution of this Mythic, you can see why it needs to be disabled in the no CP campaigns. Because if it wasn't, well, it'd easily be the best thing that you could wear in that environment. Alright, let's look at it. 15% damage mitigation. That's basically fully proc pariah levels of defense up at all times, and since it's percent damage mitigation, it's always active and can't be affected by breach and stuff. 1,337 weapon and spell damage. Alright, New Moon gives you a total of 530 weapon and spell damage, and Clever, when you fully proc it, gives you a total of 804 weapon and spell damage. And when you add them together, you only get 1,334 weapon and spell damage. And keep in mind, you get a 5% increased cost with New Moon, and like I said, you need to proc Clever Alchemist by using a potion, and that only lasts for 20 seconds. This Mythic gives you the damage of both of these sets at the same time, with no cost increases or proc conditions, and it's always active. And lastly, 500 magic and stamina recovery. This is almost one-to-one with Wretched Vitality, because Wretched fully procced gives you 519 mag and stam recovery, whereas this Mythic, you don't need to proc anything, you just get the 500 mag and stam recovery, alright? It's all just flat stats with no proc management, and hopefully you're starting to see why I really enjoy this Mythic item. The only downside to this Mythic item is that you can no longer have any other armor set bonuses active, which is fine, because I count 4 5-piece item sets in one Mythic item, so, you know, it's pretty good. Another thing I really enjoy about the Torc is it's not broken, it's not overpowered, and it's not cheesy. It's right where it needs to be. There are no sets dealing damage for you, or any armor sets carrying your survivability, because they're all disabled. This means you only need to worry about your armor traits and your armor weights, and that means this random Ruby Ash Inferno staff I found on this random Thunderbug can potentially be equally as effective as this Tarnished Nightmare Lightning staff. What this also ends up doing is making it so that you never really need to make another build again. You can just toss the Mythic on a class you want to play, and then boom! The build is done. Alright, you don't need to go farm up some sets or anything, or do any in-depth theory crafting. You just put the Mythic on and, well, you're kind of done at that point. Alright, and what this looks like is, look at me. Alright, look. I have max transmutes, and I also have a bunch of geodes with even more transmutes in them. I can't open them though because I'm at max transmutes, and I don't need builds anymore. Unless of course I want to make builds. So then I have all these transmutes that I can use to make my builds. But this Mythic simplifies everything so much, and the only requirement to get it is that you must farm the Infinite Archive. All right, and yes, you only need to farm the Infinite Archive. Okay, all the leads drop from the Infinite Archive, from the chests, the scamps, and the marauders. They all have a chance to drop the leads. Okay. But I'd say wait till Gold Road comes out, because you need Necrom in order to scry the leads. Necrom will be included in ESO Plus once Update 42 comes out, and also in Update 42, they're buffing the drop chance on the leads, which is exciting news for some people, because I have a handful of friends that have been farming the leads for this Mythic for about a month and still don't have the Mythic, okay? I apparently am very lucky because I got all the leads within about an hour at the very beginning of the patch, so point is, Wait till Gold Road comes out if you're going to try and farm for the Mythic if you haven't already started. It's just more worth it to wait for the buff and the drop chances, and also you don't have to own Necrom to start scrying for it. You just need ESO+. To round out this video, I want to talk about my favorite builds with the new Mythic. Now, I could farm the YouTube algorithms by spam posting build videos for each of the classes with the new Mythic, but that'd be kind of cringe, but I might do it for the memes. Or I may just make a video going over every single thing I'd run alongside the Torc for each class, all in one video. I'm going to leave that up to you guys. Put it in the comments what you want, and I might run a poll on my channel, but I'm going to give you my favorite spec to run with this Mythic in this video, so stay tuned. And also, I've played every class with the new Mythic except for Necromancer, and I enjoy the Mythic the most on Sorc, but I'm biased because I'm a Sorc main. But for those of you that are curious where I'd rank each of the classes in terms of how good they are with the Mythic, here's a list. We'll go in order from best class to use the Mythic on to the worst. Starting at the very top, we have Sorcerer, then we have Arcanist, then we have Warden, then Nightblade, Templar, Dragonite, and in last, Necromancer, because there's no saving that class. I swear if any of you make a tier list on the best classes to use the Torc on, I'm actually going to hurt you. But yeah, I guess I can go over my favorite build with the Torc now, so here you go. So this is my favorite spec to play with the Torc as it sits right now. This is my dual wield Sorcerer spec. I've been playing on stream a lot recently. If you have any more in-depth questions about the build, please bully me in my stream or in my Discord, and I'll try and clarify some stuff. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to speed run the build, so that way you can just see what I'm running and how these things kind of lay out. My Torc, it has Swift on it. I have one Swift jewelry at least on all of my builds, and I choose that to be my Mythic most of the time, so my Torc is Swift. I got 2 rings. They're both infused with weapon damage. I have 4 heavy, 2 medium, and 1 light. Everything is well fitted except for the chest. I find I get the best value for brawling and whatever I'm doing with this setup and armor weights. And then for my weapons on my back bar, I have a sword with a weapon damage enchantment. It's defending. And then for my front bar weapons, I have 2 maces. One of them is Nirnhund with a shock glyph. And then the offhand is a disease enchanted sharpened mace. And those are my weapons. For my skills, crystal weapon, camouflage hunter, whirling blades, mage's wrath, streak, and dawnbreaker. On the back bar, we have haunting curse, dark deal, vigor, rally, hurricane, and suppression field. The rotation is probably the most important part of this build, so we'll touch on that here in a second. Fighting finesse, master at arms, deadly aim, and duelist rebuff. And then in the potato tree, celerity, survival instincts, pain's refuge, and sustained by suffering. And then the finer details, of course. For our Mundus Stone, we have the warrior, so we can stack our weapon and spell damage a lot further. And then we're also stage 4 vampire. Stage 4 because I need to run away from Zergs, and I can go invisible with stage 4 vampire while I'm sprinting. So for my food, I'm using more Zorgas. I like having the extra recovery stacking with the Ayleid Mythic. The rotation is quite simple, but it's also probably the most important part of the build. It's incredibly satisfying to pull off, but it's definitely going to take some time to get used to. We're using a bunch of delayed burst abilities, and we're getting them to all go off and land at the exact same time to do all of our damage. Basically, you're going to start by buffing up with Crystal Weapon on your front bar. Then you're going to go to your back. You're going to put your curse on somebody. Then you're going to swap bars, and then you're going to put Mage's Wrath on them. And then from here, you have a choice. You can either streak through your target and then do a medium weave into your spin to win execute, and then they'll just blow up. Or instead of streaking, you can do like a more fully charged heavy attack, get a little closer to them, and then basically you're trying to time everything up with your curse is what I'm trying to say. So you can use your Dawnbreaker, you can use your spin to win. As long as you time everything up with your curse, your target may or may not go down on a single hit. Overall, I like the Torc, and I think it's a Mythic definitely worth picking up, especially if you want to be lazy and just log on to the game and have a build already done for you. The Torc is what you want to have. And if you're still watching the video by this point, then that means you care. And I want to offer you an invitation into our wonderful community. All you got to do is click that subscribe button. And if you just want to hang out or you do want to witness the strange machinations of my mind firsthand, I do stream live here on YouTube. This background footage that you just watched, that I got on a live stream while I was testing this build for the first time. And all you got to do for that is click the bell button next to the subscribe button, so that way you can be notified when I go live, so that way you can come bully me while I'm trying to figure out how to play this game. And if you really want to go above and beyond, I do have a channel members available for you to join. There's a link in the description. You click on that and you can get some really cool perks. These guys know how cool these perks are. Thank you to all my channel members. And I do also have a Discord available for you to join, so while you're down in the description, you can click the link for the Discord there, and then you can come hang out with me in my Discord, where we have the best memes, the best emojis, and the best people. You can also ask questions about things there too, I guess. And yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Here's a picture of, I think, King James V, and have a good night.